Hello everyone, I'm Yanis Kalafatis and together we'll be cooking Mediterranean-based goodies. Today we'll be making mainly dairy-free, but it can be switched to gluten-free if you change some ingredients, which are really simple. Chocolate cake without the mixer. So in order to make it from normal into gluten-free, you will need to change the plain flour that we're using today with gluten-free flour. You need to be careful with some raising agents like the baking powder that we use today. Might contain gluten. If it does, usually not. It will be displayed on the back, but please double check, because if it's an allergy especially, you don't want to risk it. And lastly is if you're not using whole milk and you're using oat milk, like we'll be doing today, make sure, again, with the dieters, or is your preparation. You can change the oat milk, it works with any other milk, even with water if you want. It will be a bit tasteless. Now, two little things before we proceed. I would like to mention that when you're working with baking powder or any other hydrocolloids, it's better you mix them with some sugar or salt that there is in the recipe. So it basically dissolves it better and it kind of activates it, if that makes sense. And also once you put it in the oven, and if you follow our steps closely, do not open the door before the time we say. Trust is not gonna burn, but if you open it before, it's just gonna collapse and never go up again. Yeah, so please have a look down the description. We'll have our website, janskalafatis.com. There you can find the recipe that we're using today, and you can see other recipes, and also we've got a photography blog. With that being said, let's have a look. Okay, so here are our ingredients. Here in this bowl we've got some sugar, caster sugar, and plain flour is already placed. I haven't mixed it. Then we've got our cinnamon, cinnamon and cloves here. They give a beautiful flavor, and their aroma is just amazing. Right here we've got some baking powder and some salt, and finally separately we've got our cocoa powder, and because it will not be mixed with all the ingredients together, it will be added in the end for flavor, but also the color. You will see what I mean. Lastly, we've got our vanilla paste, oil, and oat milk. Again, if you want to change the oat milk, feel free to change it to anything you want. What we really need is the fat, is the oil, the vegetable oil. We will get our whisk. Alright, we're gonna mix the flour and the sugar a little bit together, like so. Then we're gonna add the baking powder and the salt, sorry. Give a mixy, very well. Lastly, we will add the last two dry ingredients, which is our flavorings, clove and cinnamon powder, which we love a lot, and they're very important to Mediterranean cooking. Alright, so this is our bowl here. It will stay like that. Cocoa powder, we'll use it later. And now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our eggs to the liquids. Give it a little bit of a mix. You can use a bowl instead of using a jug, but I'm only doing it for space purpose. It's a bit tight in here, so. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our liquids with MREs or with a silicone spatula, if you want to say like that. Make sure you scrape every little bit, because this is pastry, it's not exactly cooking. So you need to be really precise and careful. And now we start slowly whisking until everything is mixed together. And since we're not using a mixer, it's good to give it a good whisk. You don't want it to whisk it until it raises or changes consistency, but you wanna give it a little bit of fluffiness, a bit of love, and make sure all the ingredients are incorporated and there are no lumps left. Now we will leave the whisk and we'll go back to the MREs. You want to get all the corners and make sure there's no dry ingredients stuck together in any corner. It's a bowl, there are no corners, but you know what I mean. Give it a nice mix. And this is it. It's done really quick. So now we're getting our mold here. Okay. So what we want to do is, you can use vegetable oil. However, as I'm intolerant and I can have a little bit of butter, it's not gonna hurt. So what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna use butter. But if you want, you can use vegetable oil or any other fat. It could be coconut, it could be anything. However, keep in mind about the flavor. So you grab or if you want any vegan spread, whatever. So you grab your fat and you rub it against the walls of the mold, like so. You wanna make sure you get all the corners. If you don't do so, your cake will be stuck. Now if you're lucky, it might not, but let's decrease the possibilities. And of course you want to go to the bottom. So the reason I'm using butter and I'm not using oil is because of the consistency and the thickness. It will make it more crusty and also adds a bit of a flavor. So now as we have our mold buttered, you want to get some more plain flour, and you really want to drop a good amount, not too much because you're gonna be wasted. And now what you do, you grab your mold and you rotate it while tapping it on the sides or on the bottom or just shaking it. So basically you want to get the flour everywhere, and that'll increase the flavor and it will make a beautiful crust, and it will protect your cake as well from sticking completely out. Is all those little things go up and down, back and forth until it's all done. And now what you want to do is you wanna tap it like that and remove all the excess flour. This is our mold ready, and here we've got our mix. If it has been sitting on the side, give it a good mix. You want everything well mixed and incorporated. So half of the mix in the mold, and then you stop. You put on the side, and we're gonna add our cocoa powder all in. And now we're gonna give it a good mix. Fold mix, like so. And here we go back to the mold, and we've got this color here because of the cocoa powder, whilst here we've got the normal color. So we're gonna scrape everything and start pouring it to the mold from the left to the right or from the right to the left. Doesn't really matter because we're gonna mix it. You just wanna spread it a bit, don't put it all on the same place. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get something not sharp but not like too thick, something kind of pointed, but not dangerous enough to damage your mold. And then what you want to do is you want to do circular moves and mix the vanilla and the cocoa powder mix. You want to do random shapes, don't overdo it, and do not touch the sides of the mold because you will remove the flour. Now last thing, get a knife, preferably not serrated, but if it's serrated it's fine. Dip it in oil and without scratching the mold, right, go from the left to the right, in the middle, and then lift. So what that will do is the oil will not let the two sides touch each other while the cake will be raising. So you'll make this nice ear that we say in the middle, and it will puff in the middle mainly, just for decoration purpose. So our oven is already preheated on 170 fan. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it in, and we're not going to open the door until the timer is done. 40 minutes, 170. Oh my god, so look at that, it's beautiful. Look at our little eye in the middle and little lines. One thing you can do to check the cake if it's cooked, you can get again a serrated knife. Go exactly in the middle, don't try to go on the sides, because in the middle usually holds. Go down and lift up. When it comes clean like that and there's no mixture, raw mixture, that means it's perfectly cooked. So we'll let it cool down and then we're gonna remove it and put it in the rack to cool completely. Okay, so our cake is ready, it's cold, and you can see, so basically it's a bit flat because I don't have the mold I used to have. I used slightly like a bigger one, so it's a bit flat. However, if you use the mold on the recipe, it will be high like tolerance. See, if it's hot, it'll be crumbling and falling apart. However, now that it's completely cooled down, you can get these beautiful slices. And look at the inside. It's just gorgeous. And then you can see those beautiful slices in the corner, crunchy and nice. That's the important role of the butter. It makes it really. So let's see what we have made. Oh, this vanilla flavor, the aroma, no flavor, smell. Amazing. That's amazing. Fast, simple, and with me talking less will be much faster as well. But super tasty and highly recommended. And that's it. After it's baked, we're gonna put it straight onto a cooling rack. Actually, not straight. We'll leave it like 5 minutes on the mold to let. Because the thing is, if it's still too hot and you put it on the rack, it'll start going you're going in between the rock, and yeah, you're gonna ruin it. So we'll leave it 5 minutes in the mold, then onto the colon crack until it's completely cool, and then we can slice it, otherwise it will crumble apart. So let me know down below in the comments if you have made it or you'll make it. Any suggestions are accepted as well. Don't forget to check the recipe in our website down there, and we've got our blog. Other than that, thank you for watching and have a lovely day.